So, you watch from among the barrels as the slave trader enters the courtyard. Your informant seems to be correct, as he is accompanied by a thug and 2 guards. They spread out in front of him, looking for trouble. Does Tinklefoot remain hidden? Yes, your stealth roll was sufficient to keep him hidden. What would Tinklefoot like to do? I remind you that you are alone, as the rest of your party is currently resting at the inn.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, you're not here. It matters not. The others do not have the will to do what must be done. This is something that only Tinklefoot the Killer can accomplish. Alright then, what would you like to do? If I attack now, would that be considered a surprise attack? Yes, because you are hidden and the gods do not expect trouble, I'll let you have a round of surprise attack. Okay, so if the closest one to me is the thug, I will jump out of the barrel and attack him with my Sword of the Slashing Path. Are you actually using the Slashing Path, or is this just a regular attack? Just a regular attack. Since I didn't actually rest, I've only got 2 uses left. Fair enough. You can attack at advantage since this is a surprise attack. Actually, my Assassinate ability gives me advantage on any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet. So I guess they don't stack. Right. So roll for attack. And that is a 16 to hit. That is the success. Roll for damage. So, since this is a surprise attack with my Assassinate skill, it is an automatic critical. And I will be adding my sneak dice to that. So that's 18 damage on just the weapons.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? That was a 7 and an 8 plus 3. And my sneak attack, double dice because of the crit. Only 18 again, so 36 damage total. Wow, so 36 damage, and the thug is down. The other guards are taken aback by your sudden appearance and the quick dispatch of their leader. But they quickly regroup. Roll for initiative. That is a dirty 24. Gotta love that alert feed. Yes, and they roll significantly less than that. So first up is Tinklefoot. Okay, so I'm going to move here and attack the first guard. Again, since they have not taken a turn, I get advantage. Are they still surprised? No, they are well aware of your presence at the moment. In that case, it's just advantage, no auto crits. So I'm going to attack the first one. With advantage, that is a 22. That is the hit. Roll for damage. So, because it was a hit, I'm going to activate the slashing path. I move through the guard to the other side and apply my sneak attack. So only 4 on the weapon, but 11 on the dice, so 15 total. But Tinklefoot is going to use his last charge on the slashing blade to chain attack the second guard. That's a 17 to hit. That is a hit. Nice. That is 11 on the weapon damage and another 9 on the sneak attack. So 20 damage total, and he moves through the guard to the other side. That was the last charge for the day for the blade. So Tinklefoot calls upon the magic imbued in the Sword of the Slashing Path. In the blink of an eye and the flash of the sword, he seemingly teleports through the 2 guards. He strikes opposed, and a second later, both guards collapse to the floor, dead. Is that your turn? You know what? Tinklefoot is going to turn towards the slaver, point his sword at him, and say, "Surrender now, or face the wrath of my blade."
Typical.
Hey everyone's Jackal Wolf back with another D&D character creation. I kind of changed up things a little bit from the last one that we did. I've added in a little bit of a skit. I thought it'd be a good way to kind of show off the new character, show off the custom weapon in an actual gameplay setting. Hopefully it wasn't too cringy. I'm not a voice actor, but I did my best to try to make my 2 voices slightly different from each other. Also a big shout out to Frog with the Fancy O for helping me with the female voice in there. I should also mention that the gameplay part of that video was done on Tabletop Simulator. We used a custom model from Hero Forge for Tinklefoot the Killer, and the character creation as well as the custom item creation was all done on D&D Beyond. Now, I'm not being sponsored in any way, shape, or form by any of these guys. There's lots of different options out there for you guys to use. I like the visual aspect of these ones, especially when it comes to making a video, but feel free to use whatever you're most comfortable with in your own gameplay sessions. Oh, and before I forget, the other characters in the gameplay from the Tabletop Simulator are from a compilation collection by HP Thane. I'm not too sure who the original creators were for those pieces. There's some really, really nice ones in there, but HP Thane's got a collection of 1,000 D&D minis for Tabletop Simulator. That's what I use for the other pieces, so I just wanted to give a shout out for that. But before we get started, now would be a great time to click on that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're alerted every time I post a new video to this channel. Also, if you're enjoying this content and you want to really help support us, this is an alternate channel for me. There's going to be a couple other content creators I'm hoping could be help collab on this. So the best way you can help is word of mouth. Talk us up with your friends, whether they're, in real life D&D session players. Word of mouth is going to help us grow faster than anything else. Feel free also to share us on social media. Hashtag One Shot Heroes. That is the number 1 SHOTHEROES. Throw that on your tweet or on your Instagram or wherever you're sharing this on the media. That way there's a good chance that we're going to see it as well, and we'll be able to give you a shout out on your platform. But you know what? Enough about that. Let's get back to the video. So again, we're kind of changing things up how I did these character creations from last time. When I did the Stone Fist video, we basically built the character from scratch. What I'm going to do here is I've already built the character. We're going to go take a look at them and just kind of see the different options that I chose and go over some of the reasons for choosing them. So right off the bat, I've got the homebrew content clicked on this. That's because I know for a fact we're going to be using some homebrew content. Everything else is pretty much exactly the same. I've got them set up for milestone and fixed hit point type. Moving on, we got our race. I chose a forest gnome. That's mainly because of the speak with small beasts. I think there's a good chance he's going to be running around cities having to talk with like rats and, pigeons and stuff like that, trying to get info on his targets. And, I thought that would be a good little element over the other different gnome types. The idea behind Tinklefoot the Killer is to have the smallest creature possible be an assassin. I think that's some of the most interesting visual assassin that you could have is the smallest, most unassuming creature and be an absolute total killer. Now, I've built him up to level 5. Realistically, you don't get to pick your archetype until level 3. So before that, he's really just a thief. But at level 3, we picked the Assassinate archetype. That gave us the ability to get the drop on our enemies. You have advantage on roll attacks against any creature that hasn't taken a turn yet in combat. In addition, any hit you score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit. So this is a really, really cool feature. So that brings us to our ability score improvement at the 4th level. We went with a feat, and that feat was Alert. Basically, with Alert, we get a +5 bonus to initiative. We ourselves can't be surprised while we're conscious, and other creatures don't gain advantage on attacks against us for being unseen. So that is a really, really cool feat. I like taking it for all of my thief characters, and even some fighter characters. It's really good. The +5 bonus to initiative alone is worth the feat. Other than that, everything else is pretty much standard thief. We get our uncanny dodge at the 5th level. We've got our cunning action, which I use all the time. Being able to dash as a bonus action is super, super useful. Now, that's enough about the features. Let's move on to our point buy system. Again, I'm using the point buy system because rolling dice is fairly random. We're trying to make a very, very set character. The standard array works really good if you want a balanced character. Point buy lets you customize a little bit more. So because we're a gnome, we got a +1 dexterity bonus and a +2 bonus to intelligence. The intelligence isn't going to help us that much other than, give us a few extra points to put into something else. +1 on the dexterity is good. We were able to apply a full 9 points to get us to 16 total. If we hadn't taken the feat, we probably could have taken 2 more dexterity points, bumped that up to 18. It's kind of a trade-off early on, but for a character whose skill set requires him to go first, the Alert feat I think was a must. Constitution was our next highest with 15. Hit points are going to be super, super important. We are a gnome, so I did keep the strength low. A lot of other characters, I probably would have bumped it up a bit, but as he's a gnome, I do think the strength is probably going to be his downfall. And then we kind of balanced out the rest. We've got a 12 in intelligence, we got a 12 in wisdom, and then a total of 11 for charisma. Now, as a background story, we went with the criminal spy. That seems to be probably the one that you're going to take whenever that you're some sort of thief. So as far as suggested characteristics went, I went with I don't pay attention to the risks in a situation, never tell me the odds. I think that was kind of evident from that little skit. As far as ideals, I went with people. I'm loyal to my friends, not any ideals, and everyone else can take a trip down to Styx for all I care. And then down to flaws, if there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't, I'll ignore it. And then we went with some standard equipment. One of the things that shows up here is the Sword of the Slashing Path. That is a custom weapon. I'm going to show you guys how I built that. But everything else was just pretty standard for a thief/assassin. So here we are back on the character page. You can see we've got a +8 to initiative, which is really, really cool. We've got +9 on sleight of hand and stealth. +4 on the perception. We got +4 on the animal handling. And overall, I think he's a really, really good character. Next up, though, let's take a look at the Sword of the Slashing Path. So, Sword of the Slashing Path, level 1 to 4. Rarity, legendary. To me, I don't know what the value would be on one of these, but it's not the sort of weapon you're going to be able to throw into any campaign. You're definitely going to have to work it out with your DM. Base item is a weapon. Base weapon was a rapier. Now, I went with the rapier because it already has the finesse label on it. But as far as the rapier goes, I mean, that's your standard thief weapon. I kind of figured that would be a good one to start with. Attunement description, only usable by a rogue with the assassin archetype. This is meant to be an assassin's weapon. That's how I've built it. I mean, obviously, you can work it out with your DM if you want to, work this into your world for just a regular thief weapon. All it does is gives you a limited number of sneak attacks that don't fall under the regular categories. Now, we get down to additional information. Has charges, that is a yes. Number of charges, 2. As far as I can see, there's no way to automatically scale up charges. That's why I had to build 5 of these, all based on the different level, and then just manually enter the number of charges. I arbitrarily picked the proficiency as a way of kind of giving the number of charges. I thought 2 for a low-level character, 3 for sort of an earlier character, 4 and 5, just sort of keep it scaled. Charge reset conditions on a short rest. And then as far as modifiers goes, there's no modifier to this. All we're doing is saying, hey, apply your sneak attack damage. Same thing with the conditions, same things with the spells. But you know what? That's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this character creation. The Gnomish Assassin. I really, really love that idea. One thing I should mention, if you got any other ideas for characters that you want to see built, let me know in the comments below. If I really enjoy it, I might actually make a video on it. But that's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.